I think you know best in your gut, and just to listen to that little voice and know that like there are like that perfect match, agent artist match out there. You just have it just takes a little bit of time and patience.
Hi, this is You May Contribute a Verse. I'm Brenna Jeanneret, author of newly released The Law of Birthdays, illustrated by Maria Condra. I'm joined by my co-host Josh Monken, dad, kidlit author, and science communicator, and podcast wizard Jon Seymour. And that was our guest, friend of the pod, artist behind the Versy podcast mascot, and author-illustrator of things like Smug Seagull, Just Be Jelly, and the graphic novel series Wombats, Maddie Frost. We chat illustrating, switching agents, and working on multiple projects at once. Here's Maddie's verse.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for coming back, Maddie. Because you have a ton of stuff coming out, including like your graphic novels, which we love. We love the Wombat graphic novel, the first one, because the second one has not come out yet. But I saw
the second one's rubbish.
And I'm so
absolute
excited.
rubbish.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen it, so I'm not trying to, oversell it.
Right, I know. Well, this feels like our family reunion. So thank you for having me back.
Yes.
You guys are so great.
Anytime.
Where did Josh go?
Oh, I'm here.
Can you not see him? There he is.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, I totally meant to send you guys a digital copy of the second Wombat book, but I don't know.
That's okay. Can you send it anyways? I would love to see it.
Yes, I will send it anyway. I have to get it from my art director.
I mean,
he may have sent it. I don't know. I think ever since like being a parent, I just feel like it's just like your brain just sort of dies at random times.
Yeah,
momnesia, right? Momnesia is a real thing.
Yeah, it really is. And so I don't know. There's so many things that I feel like I always mean to do, and I just don't do it, and then. Anyway, the second one comes out on February 13th of next year.
That's exciting.
I know. And wombats weirdly they're just on the up right now. And it's like, what?
I was going to say, and I mean, we talk about trends and stuff on the podcast all the time. And there's no way anyone could have predicted this. But yeah, there's like a ton of wombat books all of a sudden.
I know.
Did you hit it at the right time? Like you're riding the crest of the
I don't know. Maybe
you're making the wave.
It's like I just remember when I was starting to pitch this, the idea. A lot of people were like, and editors were like, okay, but we probably would want to switch it to a more familiar character.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know, that's just what they are. I feel like they were always wombats in my head, and I felt like it's just a matter of time before they're the new llama. You know what I mean?
Or sloth, or
just give it another year or so, and now there's it's funny. I was at an event, a kids con event over the weekend, and one kid came out to me and was like, is this from the show Wombats? What is it called? Work It Out Wombats. It's on PBS.
Oh.
And in my head, I'm like, yeah, it's the show.
If that makes a sale.
Really cool. Right. Yeah, I'm the creator. But anyway, it's you just never know what's gonna take off. I know, it's crazy.
Maddie, it could totally be a show though. I mean,
I know, right?
Has that been a discussion? Have you talked to Andrea about that? I mean,
yes. So I know
100% could be, and that's part of you taking over the world, which we talked about last time. So I would like to check in about your plans and where we're at with that.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I really want it to be a show. That would be amazing. I did turn it into sort of a pitch Bible. I think that maybe they want to see more books come out and have it be sort of a following first, but I think that's definitely a goal. So if you're a producer and you're listening to this, please call me.
Also, thank you for listening to this.
Yeah, also thank you for listening. Yeah.
Call us. You can come on the show.
Yeah,
also.
you can't stay with Brenna though. If you're in Colorado, she won't let you in your house.
No. I could direct
wrong
you to
direction
some great
to come
camping
visit you.
spots.
Yeah.
That's right. Or glamping.
Yes, either are
But
great.
anyway, yeah. So I'm excited. It's a really good. This next one's, I think I like it better than the first one. The story, anyway.
I mean, that's awesome, because I feel like sometimes it's hard to like hit that bar again. Like, oh, this first one was amazing, and like there's, I put everything in there, and then it's sort of like, okay, cool, like I have some other ideas, but they're just sort of like lukewarm or whatever. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Did you sell it as a twofer?
I did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know the second story.
Yeah. Are there more in the works? I mean, you might not be able to tell us.
Not. So we're kind of just, it's like a wait and see. Unfortunately, in the publishing world, it's like they love you, but also like we're waiting to see like how the second one does, and we'll go from there. And I totally understand. I get it, So hopefully the Wizard's Wharf. Yeah, I hope kids like it. It's kind of like a mashup of like Harry Potter vibes meets like Dungeons and Dragons, and
Josh,
yeah,
it's
this whole like wizard theme park, and and they get like lost in this castle ride that hasn't opened yet, and they have to find each other and like use what they know about each other to come back together. And yeah, it was so fun to illustrate all these like different rooms and stuff, and potions and secret libraries. It was so fun. Yeah.
That was not always the second story though. Like you said, you didn't have it planned out. Did you have other scenarios that you had pitched?
Did I?
She's stroking her chin like a wizard at the moment.
I know. I don't think I did. I don't remember. Originally the first story was about like they were like digging and found like an egg or something, and like the egg turned out to be this alien, and then
a little too high concept.
Don't tell us too much. Weird. That could be book number 3. So
maybe I do have ideas for a third book. So I hope there will be a third book. But yeah, I don't know. It's so funny when you start writing a story. It's like what you have in your head, and then like what actually ends up coming out and into the world could not be more different from where it started.
Yeah, no, totally. And I don't remember if we talked about this last time or not, but are you a pantser or a plotter? Like, did you sit down and like sort of like break down the story, or do you kind of write it? And then I guess also sub question, because you're an illustrator, is it easier to plot it because then you're also illustrating, or do you write it first and then illustrate?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like early dialogue always comes like super fast, and like in the beginning of the story, I feel like I can see where they are. I can see sort of like this establishing shot basically in my head of what they're doing and what they're talking about. And then from there, I think I'll plot out sort of like these main moments that I want to happen, especially visually. I think I can see like this would be really funny if they did this, and then what a great idea if they like then went here. And so then I'll block that out, and then I'll sort of string it all along with, because the dialogue tells, like it's told through dialogue and happening in real time. So I sort of just kind of follow them in a way where I just listen to what they're saying. It sounds like I'm crazy. I know a lot of people work this way, but I sort of just listen to them and I follow their lead. And sometimes things happen that I did not even think they would, like, I didn't think the story was going in that direction. So yeah, and then I kind of maybe not always have an ending in mind, but eventually it'll come to me sort of organically as the story progresses, and yeah, and then I will go back and revise a million times.
I'm enjoying the visual of your husband and child like sitting outside your studio door, and you're shouting like, "What are you doing, Pickles? You're throwing me for a loop, Albert."
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's definitely the dynamic of our friendship. I'm definitely more of a worrier, super anxious, like, but also very excited all the time. And he's a lot more grounded, and yeah, keeps me
I didn't even
sane.
mean to explore the
Yeah,
nature of your
yeah.
relationship with your husband there. But that
Oh,
do you put that
oh no,
on
that's
the
just,
Albert and Pickles
yeah,
dynamic? Like that's you guys?
yeah,
Oh,
hmm,
all right.
yeah, it totally is.
I love that. I can very much relate. I feel like that is very similar to my husband and I also.
Yeah,
Like I'm very like, yeah,
yeah,
excitable and like, you know, high
yeah,
energy, and I need somebody to sort of like ground me a little bit. Like
yeah, yep,
so, you know, in the best way, because otherwise like I'll
mm-hmm,
just like float off into the abyss. So, you know, I need someone to like
yes,
sort of hold on to my balloon string. Otherwise, like
yeah.
goodbye.
Then you're just like, hey guys,
Yeah, totally.
from
Like
above.
I don't know what's happening up here. So I wanted to ask about so for a graphic novel, I mean that is like a ton of work because it's not only are you an author illustrator, so like a picture book is going to take you longer than
Mhm.
you know just an author or just an illustrator because you're doing both. But a graphic novel on top of that, I mean that's just a lot of like paneling and working out and just it's longer by nature.
Yeah.
So so I guess it's a two-part question. So like how long does it take you to do like one of these graphic novels? And then sub question, are you
Mm-hmm.
working on other stuff as you're working on that? Like do you need cuz yeah, she's saying
The-
yeah guys cuz
Always.
I'm thinking to myself, yeah, like I always have a million things and I'm not always like actively working on stuff, but I need something to sort of like jump back and forth to sort of like jar
Yeah.
my brain one way
Yeah.
or the other. So
Yeah. How long did this? I feel like,
Well, you were
I
working on
mean, I think it
camping,
takes about
I think,
yeah.
like in the thick of working on camping when we talked last, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
was. I think it takes about like 6 months for me to illustrate a graphic novel. Basically, it's like a whole year process from like writing. I sketch it really fast. Um, and I can get the sketches out pretty much within like a month of time
oh
for
wow.
all 96 pages. I know, it just comes
Oh
out really, really
wow.
fast.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and then the art, I can do, I can do a whole spread, like two, um, like a page of panels, another page of panels in a day if I had to. I don't like to, but
Mm.
I will usually do one page in a day, and I
Mhm.
will draw the whole thing and color it. Some artists, some like comic artists will like ink it and like scan it, and maybe the inking process is a whole thing, but I will just draw it digitally, color it digitally, and then that way I can just check it and move on. Because I feel like if it's sort of there's so many going back to it, so I kind of sketch it and then I draw it and then color it. All like yeah, it all kind of happens.
Where's the check-in? Where's the editor publisher check-in? Is there a step? So, for example, like if I put my like how I understand movies work brain on it, there's a storyboard step, there's a scripting step, a storyboard step. You check in, you refine,
Yeah,
and then you draft. Is that happening for you?
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. I work with the editor on the story, and then I put it into comic panels. Um, I kind of will take the dialogue and I'll have all the panels and I'll put the dialogue in the panel so we can kind of see the pacing and how long it will be and where we can cut things out before I even start sketching. And then I get the okay that that's working. And then I go to sketches. And then once I finish that, the art director comes in and the editor, and we kind of look at everything, make revisions, and then I get the okay to go to art. And when I get the okay to go to art, maybe they'll be like, hey, can we see a couple of finished spreads to see how the art is looking. Um, and then they really leave you alone until you're done. So it's like, talk to you in like half a year.
Which is nice.
And which is nice. Yeah. It's nice to be sort of left. Well, you have to, make sure you're staying on top of your
It's
work.
nice to be
Like
left
you really
alone.
have to be disciplined. It's nice to be left alone. I know. It's why I love this job, is because I can really just do my own thing and work at my own pace. But yeah, it's that moment when you send all the files and you're like, hi, like,
right, remember me?
yeah, remember me. But yeah, I try really hard to make sure that like when I send things, it's all looking really clean because I hate going back and fixing artwork. It just feels, it's very a detached experience for me. It kind of feels like visiting a ghost where you're just like not that same person you were when you were working on it. I can't explain it. It's like going
I've
back
moved
in
on
and
from
like
the spread.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
and you've been looking at these characters. Like I love you, Albert and Pickles, but I don't want to see your face anymore. You know? I am really done.
We're gonna
with you
take that
guys.
quote and put it at the
But
front of the
yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Maddie's done.
But yeah. The author speaks like freely about characters.
Totally.
Yeah, I hate it. So I really try to make sure that like it's pretty much nice and clean and good to go.
I mean, I kind of, I just was going to say, I kind of feel similar about, you know, just writing in general. Like if I've been working on something and like I've revised it 1,000 times, I'm kind of like I don't want to go back in and like, you know, make sure the commas are good and like because partly it's super tedious and like I'm done. I've like done the story, like I'm over it, right? So like that's part of it. And the other part of it is I don't know if you guys feel this way, but like I'll go back into a story and I'm like, last time I read this, it was good. Like I had it in a good spot. I don't want to go back in, reread it, and have like another brainstorm and have to like write it over again. Like I missed something, like a missed opportunity. It's like terrifying because I'm like, I cannot write this story again. I really don't want to. So like part of me is like, it's good. I'm just gonna leave it alone. I don't want to like think about it anymore because it's gonna like spark something else. And I'm tired.
I've seen your 40 drafts of things. Like, let's work on this though. Let's explore this idea. You just have to be in the same brainstorm where you're writing 40 drafts again and again and again, and then you're done and you move on. See, I hit that point when I get to one draft, and then I'm done. And that's why I'm not published and don't have an agent because I can't.
I just feel like there's a certain point where you have to just like let it be what it is. I don't know. Like there are some, and I hate that feeling. Like when I finished the first Wombats, I was like, I hate this. I hate it. My style is horrible. Like I should have. Like why did I pick purple and blue for the color? Like I just like I'm like self-sabotage so bad after I finish a book, and I don't. Right. I've been trying to like be kinder to myself at the end, and like of course my husband gives me like the gentle pats on the back, like it's good, like,
right.
And cry. I like wipe my tears with my dog's tail, like. But it's just like I don't know why that happens, and I don't know if you guys feel that after you make anything. It's just like I hate it.
Totally.
But then you don't look at it, and then you get like a copy of it in. You know, the ARCs and stuff, and you're like, oh my god, like, yeah, I actually do. It's weird, like it's just a love-hate relationship that happens after.
It takes time and distance for sure.
I was gonna say because immediately after, I'm just like, oh man, this is
horrible.
Like
I'm horrible.
You know what? And you know what I think it is? I think it's like what you were saying, like at the top of the episode, where it's like, I have what I want it to be in my brain, and whatever is on the page is not that. So I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like this is not good. So like some distance and coming back, I have been pleasantly surprised, I'll say, at how much of my stuff I actually like after the fact. I'm like, this is actually, I'm like, way to go, Brenna. Like you did it. You did something here. Like
what did they say? Comedy is tragedy plus time. Like if you give it long enough, it turns gold again. That's a real thing. I recently revisited a manuscript that Brenna's read, the first draft of, the only draft of, starring a bunch of raccoons doing math and scheming to steal some pizza.
It's good.
It's no wombats. I'm gonna wait for raccoons to have their moment, and then it's gonna just burst onto the scene. But
we call them trash.
Yes, I used that term in the manuscript, and nobody knew what I was referring to. Anyway, we're going to revisit that. But anyway, I went back to it after 2 years, and I've gone back to a number of manuscripts recently like that, and they haven't been bad.
Yeah, Josh, you got to make the raccoon moment. He's coming out, guys. Agents, editors listening, the raccoon moment is coming.
I feel like
Starts
they're
with Josh
already.
Monken.
Have they ever gone out? I feel like raccoons are always.
They're a staple.
They're like an
I
evergreen.
don't know.
Raccoons
Topic,
are evergreen.
Yeah, I
right?
feel like
Right?
they're
Let's
just
get
like
that
classic.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, right?
They're no
Classic black and
quokkas.
white.
They're
Come
no
on.
wombats.
There's a whole so I wanted to ask too, because you said so you pitched your idea for the graphic novel. So is that
Yes.
a thing that you can do? Is it because you're like a more established name that you can just
Well, I
pitch the
actually
idea?
pitched it. So in that time that I had the sketches and sample art for Wombat, the first book, I didn't have an agent. Like I left the agent that I was with for like 5 years, and I was trying to get a new agent. So I was using that to be like, hey,
Yeah.
this is sort of the direction I want to go in more. This is like the latest thing I've been working on. And like some of the agents that I queried were like, I don't get it. Or I don't think you should do, like, we should probably change the animal. And like, no one was really like, got the vibe. Like, I feel like, yeah. And then I met Andrea at Writer's House, and she totally like got my style, knew how to reel me in certain places, but still keeping it very Maddie, you know? Yeah. So sorry, I should have clarified, but yeah. I mean, also, when the agent pitched it to different editors, like there was a whole range of feedback of like, I like it, but you know.
Yeah. So wait, can we back up just a little bit and do like the timeline breakdown? So when we talked to you last, were you still agented? It was like 2 years ago, I think. Yeah. One of our like very
How have we been doing this for that long?
I know.
That's crazy. Wow.
But so you must have been with your old agent at the time?
I don't think so, because I remember talking to you guys in my walk-in closet in this house.
Yes. And I remember that.
So I think we may have just moved in, or it was definitely, I had gotten my new agent at that time. Yes.
Okay. So you were with Andrea. So how long, and you don't have to answer why you left your agent. I'm infinitely interested, because I feel like people are leaving their agents, all the time.
I can tell you.
And there's so I would love to know why you left, and then how long did it take you? Like, how long were you in the query trenches? Because I feel like that again is a really hot topic for people, because so much is like shifting and changing, and it's like just really tumultuous.
Also, before you start, January 31st, 2022. Go back and listen to the old episode, audience, and then for the both of you, that's when we aired our episode.
You found it.
Okay, that's where it is.
For the record, I had to Google it. I Googled Maddie Frost farting pig.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Oh my gosh, that's right. Yes. Let it go like a farting pig. I remember, because I edited and then named that episode. I remember that.
That is amazing. Oh my god, yeah. Wait.
Okay. So why did you leave your agent, and then how long were you in the query trenches?
So I left my agent because I felt like I wasn't getting the attention that I deserved. I think that I was in an agency where I think they valued quantity over quality, and as far as getting new, clients and getting new artists in. And so, I had been making pitch dummies and stuff, and just like, there was no fire, there was no meeting me halfway. I just felt like, I needed someone who could keep up with me, who saw me for just like all of my ideas and passion, and really just, worked. Like, I felt like I was working hard, but I couldn't get my agent to work hard for me. So it just didn't feel like an equal, relationship. And so, so I left, and I think I left without having another agent. I think I was talking to people.
Yeah, usually legally required to ramp it down.
Right? Yeah, which is kind of insane, because like any other any other job, any other industry, like you've got something lined up. You don't just
I know.
free fall. You know what I mean? Like it's insane the way it's like, yeah, you have to do it within writing, and then you've got X amount of days, and you can't do anything. You can't talk to anybody. You can't like. I'm like,
I know.
really? Like this is my
It's
career.
a little crazy. I know.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, like. Anyways, okay, I'm a little.
I
like,
know.
a little
I know.
riled up about it, but-
Yeah, and so I actually had to we got some legal help too, because it was just like
oh snap.
Yeah. So I just
Yeah.
I just felt like, I don't know, I kind of just knew what was best, and I didn't want to be taken advantage of, and so
Which I mean, I just want to say too, like that makes it even harder, because if you don't, like, leaving your agent, number one, because it's such a free fall and you can't have something lined up, that's scary. And number two, just going back into the query trenches anyways is like really hard. There's so much rejection, like nobody wants that. So making the decision to leave an agent is hard anyways. And if it's just because, like, if you can't actually put your finger on like, you know, like this event happened, like here's the evidence, like they said this thing and I said that thing and it wasn't cool. It's just like a feeling or like a vibe,
it's just
or like
feeling. You just like don't know.
I feel like that's so much harder, and it's really admirable that you were able to just be like, look, I want better. I need better for myself.
And like you deserve, like you as a whole like deserve better. Like we work so hard, and
totally.
We're so passionate about what we do, and it's so I think if you are listening and you're wondering if you should leave your agent, like I think you know best in your gut, and just to listen to that little voice, and know that like there are like that perfect match, agent artist match out there. It just takes a little bit of time and patience and consistency.
And I will say too, like if the thought has even crossed your mind, I mean, it might be, you know, worth looking into, because if you're with the right agent, you're probably never like, oh, you know what? That one might be a better fit. Or like, I wish that I had blah, blah, blah. Or like, I wish that, you know, my agent was, you know, as responsive, or like, you know, did work for hire.
The responsive thing is huge.
Whatever. Yeah, totally. Like I have a real hard time with silence. I've mentioned on the podcast several times. Like I mean, we write stories for a living. I can write a lot of stuff in that silence. Like, please don't make me write a story for you. Like, just tell me, please tell me, like, you know, yes, no, like I got it, whatever. Like I can't live that way. It makes me bananas anyway.
Totally.
So this is.
So I'm sorry, Maddie.
Yeah, this is how presumably you approach the conversation with Andrea, right? It's like with all this wisdom in mind.
I showed her. I showed her like some of the stuff, art from the books that I've done, and I think she had seen some of my work on social media, so I think she knew of me.
The farting pigs preceded you.
She was like, does it get any better?
I heard you on that amazing podcast.
Not to toot our own horn, of course.
Nice.
Ooh,
nailed
good
it.
One. Yeah, so I think the farting pigs, right? It probably made me really stand out.
It really clears the room.
Yeah, and so and so we chatted, and it was just a great. She is such a champion of all of her artists that she works with, and so responsive, and so great to work with, and it's great. Like you just want someone who can just, you send them something to shop or whatever, and they're like, I'm on it. Like, let's do it. Here's a timeline. Like, and then she'll check in with editors. Like, hey, did you see this? Like, it's great. It's what an agent should be. A good one.
It's time for this week's book reviews. John's review this week is VROOM by Barbara Mcclintock. It is simple yet satisfying story about a child's travels in her race car that really signifies the power and importance of imagination. The illustrations are beautifully crisp, and even the transitions between landscapes are very well done. Simple is hard to do, and Barbara did it oh so well. 5 race car beds out of 5. Josh's review is for friend of the pod, Jenny Turnbull's really sweet semi-epistolary book, TATE'S WILD RESCUE. He won't spoil it, except to say that it's got a heartwarming ending consistent with last episode's rec, Every Dog in the Neighborhood, except all that middle stuff is super different. Tate is the perfect encapsulation of a kid that doesn't know how to let go of an idea. Her interest in having a wild animal for a pet is really constructively portrayed in the form of an impassioned plea to several ferocious predators and beyond to come to live with her. This book is so representative of those kids who want things that just don't know enough about the world, how the world works, to know why it's not feasible. And Tate's journey takes us adoringly through how to navigate understanding why the world just doesn't work the way we want it to. Welcome to the real world, Tate. And my review for this week is for Silly Boobies, A Love Story, written by hilarious friend of the pod, Ame Dyckman, and illustrated by Christopher Weyant. I was lucky enough to grab a copy of this book at ALA last month from Ame Dyckman herself. This book is pure Amy, fun, funny, and silly, but underneath the book is a brilliant comment on breaking with social norms, accepting people for who they are, and recognizing that love really is the most important thing. Don't forget to get your own reviews and library requests in. It's the #1 way to help an author's sales. Love the podcast and want to help support more great episodes like this one? Check out our Patreon, grab some cool podcast swag, give a shout out to someone amazing in the Kidlit world, or review and share an episode with friends. And now, back to our show.
So how long did it take you to find Andrea? Like how long, what was that process like the query trenches, like was it, because I mean the other piece is like you are pretty well established, so do you feel like that was helpful? Like did you go back to like network with people that you had met before, or maybe it wasn't? I don't know, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think I just like made a list and sort of just did some like Zoom chats with agents, and it's sort of just like one of those things like you just kind of when you know.
Yeah.
And I think I was like in a free fall sort of like without an agent for maybe like it was also during COVID, which was like a horrible time.
Yeah.
It was like stressed out with COVID, didn't have an agent, moving.
Oh my gosh.
And,
yeah. That sounds
so
like a dream.
I would think
so rough.
It is a dream. Just living the dream here. I think it was like 3 months. I didn't have an agent, maybe.
Okay.
But I didn't like pay. I just was trying to say like remain calm. Like I feel like I knew that it would happen. It was just a matter of like timing and yeah, because I feel like you panic and then.
And to be clear, both for our own conversational clarity as well as the listening audience, when you're saying you had a 3-month period where you're without an agent, you're doing like agent Zooms. You're not just suggesting to people in your digital Rolodex, hey, let's have a Zoom. I'd like to evaluate you as an agent. This is like webinars and other sorts of things where you're like seeing them speak, getting vibes from them, that sort of thing. Is that right?
Oh, no, sorry. I meant like I would be like, let's like if they were like, yeah, we are interested in representing you, then I would be like, okay, let's schedule a chat. You know what I mean? And then we would talk over Zoom and discuss like, because so they would say yes, and then I would be like, I may have gotten crickets for a couple of agencies. So I was like, all right, I'll talk to you never.
You're dead to me.
You're dead to me.
I mean, I love this dynamic though, that you're the one having the call.
It's very empowering.
Like,
yeah.
Right? It's
yeah.
flipped. I mean, like you did send them your work and they did have to say like, yeah, I'm interested, but you're like, okay, cool. Well, I'd love to interview you for the role. Like, which,
right,
exactly. Is sort of the thing. I mean, and to be fair, I am not suggesting that it's one way or the other. It is like a mutual decision, but I feel like so often it very much feels like they are interviewing us and we're just like, oh my God. Like, I hope they like me. And it's like, okay, cool. That is good too. But like, it has to be mutual. Like if they also can't meet you halfway and you also don't love them, like it's not, because it's so much, this industry is fueled so much by desperation and just like the fact that we are so rejected so often that you just want somebody to say yeah.
Right. I think because I think me trying to get an agent for the very, very first time when I didn't even know like what a picture book was. I mean, I knew what it was, but like I didn't know anything about like working in the industry. I was like, anybody, like just anybody take me. Like
yeah, totally.
And so I think I started doing this like 9 or so years ago, like, and I just was so desperate. And I think there's nothing wrong with like just saying yes to an agency when you're not 100% sure, because I think throwing yourself into the fire is the only way to really know how it all works and stuff. And then for me, like being there for 5 years, and so on, I had books out, I had a body of work, I had portfolios, I was writing. I think I knew more of like what I wanted in this next like chapter of my career. So it was easier for me to like sort of talk to other agents and figure out, can you take me to the next level?
Totally.
This is what I want. This is what I've done. And now I'm moving on to graphic novels. Like I want to do more. And so, yeah, it's just different, I think, depending on where you are in your career.
Yeah, right. Like you don't know what you don't know. I mean, you can research a ton, but I agree. I feel like unless you've had that sort of dynamic, that relationship to sort of explore and figure out like, I really like this, I really don't like this. This we could work on. This is like non-negotiable. Like, what am I willing to live with? You don't really know. I mean, like I knew I wanted an agent, and then I got an agent, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how this works. Like, let's roll the dice and like see what happens, right? And then you gain a lot of like knowledge and insight that way. But yeah, yep, I agree.
You had wombats sold before, like pre-original agency departure. Is that right? Like the two book deal? Oh, you sold it after you were with Andrea. Okay. Well, that answers my follow-up question, which is how would you handle like a cross agency?
I had the idea. I had the idea, and I had like a first version of the dummy with my old agent, and like there was no.
They were meh on it.
Like, they just didn't do anything with it. They were like, okay, and then like it was like a check-in, and then I'm left like, well, what do we do with it? Like, can we do something with it?
Yeah,
can
you
give me some advice, or like let's move? And it's just like, so that's why I was like, all right, I want to get this. I want the next agent that I work with to be excited about what I'm excited about, and so that's why I wanted to talk to people.
Somebody's got to feel the wombat jazz.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying before? You were saying something else, and
No, you answered. You answered my follow-up question. What I was going to explore was about contracts, and under the presumption that you had already sold wombats with a two book deal, how do you approach that? It's all a moot point now because it was all with Andrea. So disregard.
But so let's circle back though, because I did want to know about the stuff that you were working on, like in between. Like, do you mix it up with like other picture books, or like middle grade graphic novel? Like are you doing?
I wish
I
could do middle grade.
Expanding?
I tried writing middle grade.
Did you?
Yeah,
okay.
I usually it's picture books, and it depends on like where I am in the process of it. Sometimes like maybe I try not to have like too much. I try to be working on like art for books like at the same time. Like maybe I just stagger the processes. So I'm sorry, my dogs are barking at something.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. Just another Tuesday. And so like maybe I'll be writing one picture book and then, or like revising sketches and then working on art for another. It's never like art because I feel like I can't. Also, my style kind of varies for each project a little bit. So I think I like to stay in one art world for the whole time. Until I finish the book.
So then would you either turn down or just tell Andrea like, hey, don't accept any other like projects for me right now? Not author illustrator projects for you, but I know you also illustrate occasionally like other picture books.
Like I haven't illustrated some. No, I mean like I have, but not for like years.
Not for a bit, because the last one we talked about the owl. The
nonfiction
really
owl
cute,
book,
like nonfiction.
Oh yeah.
And I remember chatting about that one. But yeah, so you just haven't in a while.
No, I haven't in a while, and I don't know. I don't know if it's just like it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, right. I just was curious.
But I still feel like sometimes it would be, I kind of miss it because, I don't know, it takes the pressure off a little bit. And I think it's more enjoyable for me. Sometimes. I mean, I guess it depends on what the book is.
Yeah, right.
You don't end up at the end of the project hating the characters that you've illustrated as significantly.
Like, I don't think I could do someone else's like graphic novel. I don't think I could do that.
But wouldn't it be fun? I have to imagine it would be fun to get into somebody else's brain for a bit and be like, oh, interesting. Like, okay, I like this story. Like, I could put like my own spin on it or whatever, and sort of like take like a brain break, essentially, I guess. And a question based on your last comment about illustrating somebody else's graphic novel. So I find that very interesting because I have written a ton of picture books, but several of them, my old agent was like, these all read like graphic novels. He's like, could you please go back and just like try, to like rewrite? And I'm like, yeah, totally. Because I tend to write in a lot of dialogue. I just think that's really fun. But then,
it's so fun.
Right. But then it ends up like, it's kind of graphic novel-y. Like, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm into it. But then, like all the paneling out, and then, you have to put in like a ton of art notes, because if I'm not an illustrator. So if I'm not going to illustrate it, like I have to tell them where they're going. And, I'm happy to just suggest or whatever, like if somebody comes in and wants to put their own thing. Anyways, so my question is, so you would not want to illustrate somebody else's graphic novel?
I mean, I don't think so. It depends on like, I mean, like
if
it was like,
if it were mine.
If like,
asking for a friend.
It's like,
right. I mean, just if mine came across your desk, you'd be like, no, I'm just teasing.
Like if you had like Tina Fey or like Kate McKinnon write a graphic novel, like my female funny hero is like, sure, obviously I'm gonna.
Brenna, you go get that writing job on Bluey, and then Maddie will be willing to accept your script.
Right? Oh my god, I want that job. I do.
That would be amazing,
right? Maddie does too. I mean, yeah.
I love Bluey. Huge fan.
I know. Oh my god.
I know. Yeah, but it's What were we talking about?
So illustrating somebody else's graphic novel. So I guess I'm curious. So because illustrating other people's picture books, you've done that before. So where's the line? Like, what's the difference for you for illustrating a graphic novel versus a picture book?
I feel like it's like the project feels like you're just like wearing your favorite like pair of your favorite outfit, like, and then working on someone else's book is like you're borrowing like a sweater. You know what I mean? It's like it's comfy, but it's not yours.
Yeah. Is it because being on the other end of it, like I've written picture books with, art notes, and then I've written a graphic novel with like a ton more because you have to. Is that maybe the line, because it's more personal? Like you have like they come in with more of an idea, and you don't have like as much
I think you feel a little more restrained.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've gotten a picture book, like from an author, like working with an author and editor, and there's like lots of art notes, and I'm just like, this is the worst thing ever. I mean, like, I guess for graphic novels, you would have to have that, but like to see all the red, you're like,
yeah.
Maddie, I read a lot of art notes.
Yeah, I get that.
Darn it.
Yeah.
I know,
so don't show you my stuff, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, illustrators just like to. We don't like them.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, as an author, like with the graphic novel, when I was first told, like, okay, write it as a graphic novel, I'm like, okay, cool, but you have to panel it out, right? And so I have to say, like, this is what's happening here, then here's the dialogue, here again is what's happening here. So like. It sort of pained me a little bit too, because I was like, well, shoot, there's like nowhere for them to go. And I love to put like a note at the top that's like, hey, these are just suggestions, but I understand, like, if you read these, I'm like in your brain already, so it's like, okay, shoot, like it's hard to like, you know what I mean, it's hard to like unsee that and be like, I don't know. So I guess what I'm saying is I kind of get that, like that makes it really tricky, and it's helpful insight.
Maybe I don't know other artists. I think maybe some really appreciate the art notes because I feel like it saves them, brain time. So they know that, okay, this is where I need to go. This is what I need to do. Like I have 2 hours to get some work done. I don't know. I'm just speaking from like me being like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. And
Totally.
This is why I work alone.
Yeah,
Totally.
and there's got to be some gray area in there. I mean, obviously, I'm going to look at my own work and sort of be an apologist for it to an extent. But what I and presumably a lot of other authors aim for is clarity notes. Like something that I try and write as much as possible is cognitive dissonance, in the sense that like what is being said in the manuscript is not necessarily what is depicted on the page, and so art notes or clarity notes or whatever notes to that extent can presumably help focus. Like, have you worked on projects like that necessarily? Maybe nothing comes to mind.
Like maybe like the owl, that like nonfiction owl book. I feel like had a lot of things, like I had to make sure it looked like the owls and like what the owls, like I don't know, they're like pellets look like. It's really gross. Like all the skeletons in it. Like, all right. Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, I think I haven't really worked on. I would love to work. There's like I have like a master list of like authors that I really love to work with, or illustrate their books, but I haven't in a while. So I don't know, just kind of doing my one-man band over here.
Yeah. Have you reached the point in your career or schedule where you think of, like, again, putting my lens of movies and television on it, like actors book by production schedule? Are you to that point where you are thinking ahead to what are you going to have the literal time and space to work on in a given year?
You mean like what projects are coming up and stuff?
Yeah, like, okay, so I've got my door closed and I'm working on Wizard's Wharf for 6 months. Like, are you thinking ahead, like, what am I going to work on the back half of the year? What's going to come next? And booking your time.
See. Sometimes I think I always like I just did an Instagram post about this, of like it's a drawing of like my brain, and it's like there's always usually the book I'm working on and like another book I'm working on, and then it's like the book that I'm like dummying out. So usually I am like, I don't know exactly on the timeline of like in the year when I'll be working on what, but I'm always making sure that like not making sure, but it's just a natural habit that that I'm working on like a next idea. And I just think maybe it's like some sort of like job security. I don't know. Or it's just how I operate. My dog. Yeah, and I think that's just like the machine in me is just like constantly, what am I doing next? Like, so yeah, so even right now I'm working on, it's actually, it's an I can read comics, books
The early reader.
They're like the early level 2. Yeah, the early reader comics. I'm doing those, a couple of those right now. Awesome. But I'm also like, I have half a dummy going for a new picture book, and yeah, and then like writing something else in my head, just like a couple ideas that I have. So yeah, I don't know if you guys work the same way, where it's like there's always like these bunch of projects everywhere in different stages, and like all these ideas, and it's just sort of all happens it's everything everywhere all at once. I always say. Like that title of the movie. Is
totally. I'm just looking at my open tabs on my bar, and I have 5 open like Google Docs right now of stuff that I'm working on. I sympathize. No, I mean not like tabs like, oh, I'm looking stuff up, like writing tabs, like separate like writing like stories. Anyways, I get that, because I'm like, well, I don't know what I feel like working on today. Like, what do I have the bandwidth for? Or like, what do I
know? And then like sometimes like you something gets acquired and they can't really like you can't really start it for whatever reason. Like,
oh yeah, I totally get
that.
Editors, yeah, totally.
Your editors,
it's always getting slammed, and so.
Me, oh my god,
I'm just teasing you. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, so you have to like move on or whatever. Yeah, I got you.
Oh yeah, or like you just have to wait, or
no, I get it. I did wanna. So I know we're getting close to the hour, and I did hear Birdie back there, so I don't want to keep you too much longer.
Oh no, it's okay. The nanny's here today.
Oh, okay.
I have all day.
Okay. Well, I did want
to. Right. Yeah.
Right. I did want to talk just briefly about your Instagram though, because I love seeing it pop up. Like, you're very, like, your presence there is like very consistent, and very like just like funny and like
It's so
quirky
endearing.
and just like really, it really is. And I guess I wonder like it must be fun for you because it seems like it is. It's fun for me to see, and I'm like, oh, she must really like this, because I also know like you've got this new baby and you've got, you know, you're working on graphic novel and like all this stuff, so like you must have the bandwidth, or like, you know, at least like the excitement for it. So yeah.
Really? I'm really glad you said that, because I actually don't.
Oh, really?
It is completely forced.
Really?
I have to force myself. Yeah.
Because it feels really fun. Because it's like,
That's
oh,
great.
that's really
I'm so
sweet.
glad you said
like,
that.
You know, like pictures of Birdie and like the update about like how she's doing,
Yeah.
and just like, I mean, I love seeing that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Maddie's presence on Instagram is like so fun and just like quirky and
so nice
sweet.
to hear. I feel like social media for me has always been like, there are times I like it, and it's like a fun outlet to like, if something's on my brain, just to kind of like, I don't know, get it out there. It's like a, you know, visual journal or something. But sometimes I'm just like, I just want to be able to create and like ignore the world. I don't know. I feel like we all feel so like, that's like the guilt when you don't post, or like you post and you're like, why did I say that? It's so stupid.
What are people
like,
gonna think?
Or nobody liked it.
Like, who cares about me? Like, nobody cares. Like, I don't know. And so it's like my husband is the one that like, you know, like you should like maybe do some more posts. He tries to be like my little like, I don't know, like social media, like he's always checking my social media and stuff, and I don't know, I just don't have that. He tries to like boost me up, like, you're so funny, like, I don't know. I'm just like, I do what's called a dump and run, where I just like post something and I'm just like, and I just go,
just like run away.
I don't open my Instagram for like the next few days, because I just like don't.
Yeah.
But it's good to like, I don't know, I like seeing what other people are like, all their creators and stuff are up to, and
yeah,
I don't know, but I could take it or leave Instagram. I like got rid of my Twitter after that whole thing.
Yeah, which you did shortly, I think, after, I don't know, sometime after we talked the first time. It just shut down.
Yeah, because
like, bye.
You probably don't know because you're not there, and we're not really there anymore either. But when I had done the like epic threads for each episode, like I tag everybody and I shout out the people and like all the stuff, like anyone who is mentioned. And I always at the bottom, I'm like, go check out Maddie Frost. And I'm like on Instagram, because you're not there anymore. So I'm always like, go check out Maddie on Instagram. Like, she's awesome. So anyways, I'm always shouting you up, but you're not on there, but you're on Instagram. And so I hope
I'm on Instagram. Yeah. I mean, I know. What are you gonna do?
I mean,
or you could just write me a letter. Like...
I love that. But wait, so if you
throw a pigeon in the air,
totally. So, but if you don't, it's forced. Like, it's very much forced on Twitter. But so let me ask you this: so why?
Well, it's like I think the content is genuine. It's very me, but I have to force myself to put things on there. Because I feel like if I didn't force myself, I would never post anything. You know?
Yeah.
And I also feel like I don't want to feel like I have to like make art to like post on Instagram. Like, maybe it's more just like a scribble here and there of like, I don't know, whatever is in my head. Or I feel like artists feel like that pressure to like make work like for posting. Like, you already have like a job, like you're already working like on stuff, you know, you don't need to like make art for Instagram for a few likes.
I mean, unless you're actively trying to sell something, I suppose.
That's true, right? If you're trying to get followers, I get it.
Yeah,
true. Yeah, I know.
Not someone with your sort of back catalog, though. Just go to the library and experience the Maddie Frost splendor.
Yeah, that's true.
I will say, as a writer, though, that's partly why I hate Instagram, because I'm like, I have nothing.
Yeah, what do you post?
I have no picture to post.
I'm gonna start posting all my art notes on there.
Oh, nice.
Passive aggressively. Let's post our art notes.
I love
on
that.
Just because
I'm just like, I'm just like, I don't know, like I don't have any pictures I want to put on here. Like,
no,
I mean, and like what you're saying, like nobody cares about my personal life. Like, no one cares what I'm doing. Like, sometimes I'll post pictures of myself, but I'm like, I don't know. Like, people are like vaguely interested, but like, you know, so I mostly take the other route, and I'm just on there to like lurk and like other people's posts, like yours. So check in with people, and I'm like, hey, but other than that, I don't know. I don't really have that much going on there, because I'm just like, I don't know what to put here.
Yeah.
And like one day it's like, it'll probably disappear, and we'll be like, remember when we used to feel like we need to like go on like line and post things about it? Like, you know what I mean? Just like I'm always thinking ahead to like, you know, the future. we have like microchips in our brains or whatever, and like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The social media is a thing of like it's vintage. It's so old. Like,
Yeah,
know.
totally. I mean,
yeah.
If you have a Facebook, you're automatically considered old now. I'm like, oh boy, well,
right.
I used to be on Facebook all the time. I rarely open it anymore.
So. I know. Yeah. I feel like for me, it's just like, I don't like how it takes the like, I don't know, it's like that freedom out of creating. I think it feels like it's more, I
don't know. Yeah, I get that.
Watched. Yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about your early readers before we squander the rest of our hour? Have those been announced?
It hasn't been announced yet, but we can ask questions. I can see. I probably can't tell you like what they're called. 20 questions.
It's not anything
bigger than Red Box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like Snowbat.
Yeah.
But it is obviously about animal characters. I haven't done them before. It's fun. It's like there's a lot more like guidelines because it's depending on what level you're writing for, like level 1, level 2, level 3. It has to be like a certain number of comic panels, a certain number of like words per panel.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so it's fun because like those kind of guidelines are okay because I think it kind of like it keeps you sort of from going like too wordy or too far. You can keep it simple, which is really like satisfying to do.
You like this is you're author illustrator on these books, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this came from you. Mm-hmm. This was not like I'm going to lose the term. It's not like contract or licensing work or whatever. Like work for hire. That's what I was.
No.
For. Yeah.
This came from me, and I have Tamar Mays is my editor at HarperCollins, and like we're just like really good friends, and she's great, and she's done a lot of work with her,
NBD.
And so no big deal. Do I really sound like that? I think I'm sometimes I feel like such a loser.
No, not at all. We're very much just jealous that like you're so cool.
Oh my God.
And we're not.
Yeah, but like you guys say that, but I'm like, then I like go to Target and stuff. Like I don't see any of my books, or sometimes I never see my books in stores. So it's like
there's always a further horizon to yearn toward.
That's true.
At least you can always count on Versy being the face of our podcast.
That's right. Might just be my greatest legacy ever.
Maddie, I've been meaning to send you a mug.
Stop it! Oh my God, I love it.
Right?
Holy macaroni! I know. That's so adorable.
I know. We have mugs for the listening audience.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Also, do you ever need me? If you ever need me to like,
right?
Isn't it cool?
That's
Josh got that for a Christmas present, right?
Yes, my very thoughtful cousin, who has also been on the podcast, made it into
that's so cool.
A canvas for the listening audience. Again, printed onto a canvas.
If you ever need me to like change things or like add things or like color, like I still have the open file, so I can do anything.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
And we've recently learned that AI is no substitute for your ability to.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Go on my Instagram.
That was ridiculous. I know, I was like,
yeah. The last one I love.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. They were pretty ridiculous. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we are up to the hour. So
oh my gosh, can't believe the whole hour.
I want to thank you so much for coming on. This has been like so fun. I just love chatting with you, and it's like a little family reunion, like you said. I cannot wait for all your stuff to come out. Like my kid loves your books. He still breaks out I Want to Be a Dragon. He loves that book. He loves to yell the fire. That's his favorite page. He just like will scream it. I'm like, oh my God, ow. He loves it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
well, thank you guys so much. Appreciate all your support and love, and
of course.
See you on Forced Instagram.
See you on Forced. That's right.
Can't wait.
Thanks for listening this week.
Find all of our episodes and other associated links and information at linktree.com/verseshow.
Or reach out to us on Bluesky, Instagram, or Threads. Thanks again, and we'll see you next verse.
Bye!